Well, I am a member of the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, and I sailed with them for almost a year. Uh, and that wasn't the first thing I did, I don't think I'd say, in activism, but it was definitely my first step into real, actual, direct action activism. Sea Shepherd goes out and enforces against poachers and illegal fishermen and whalers on the high seas all around the world. And they were a very small organization in terms of funds and notoriety for the past 25 years. It wasn't up until only about 4 or 5 years ago that they really started getting a name for themselves because Animal Planet is now doing a show on them called Whale Warriors. Um, and I really like Sea Shepherd, and I really like the ideas of civil disobedience and direct action. I think you get the most bang for your buck that way, and I think you're the most effective that way. That isn't to say that's the only way that you can help advocate, and no one agrees with that more, I think, than Paul Watson, who's the head of Sea Shepherd. It's just he knows what he's good at, and he knows what he thinks is most effective. So that's what he sticks to. I'm a self-proclaimed pirate. We are a self-proclaimed pirate organization to some extent. It started because we actually do fly a Jolly Roger, as an augmented one. For years, people who would oppose Sea Shepherd would call Paul Watson, who's the head of Sea Shepherd, a pirate, in a negative way. And he just got to the point where he was like, you know what, I'm just going to own this. And he loves to tell the story of Captain Henry Morgan, you know, the rum, got a little captain in you. That guy, that was a real guy. He was the governor of Jamaica, so actually a real pirate. But before he was governor of Jamaica, the way he became governor of Jamaica and started that rum, I don't know if he actually started the rum or not, but he was a pirate. He was one of the most notorious pirates of the Caribbean. Buccaneers, I think they're called, the Caribbean pirates. And the British Crown wanted to try and stop piracy in the Caribbean because it was so rampant. They couldn't get anything done. They couldn't get any merchant fleets through because the pirates were everywhere. So they even sent Admiral Nelson over to try and do something about it. And the famous Captain Nelson, who's the statue in Trafalgar Square of him, most famous British sea captain of all time, and he couldn't do anything because when he got there, he realized that all of the local officials, all the governors, they were all on the take from the pirates. So he was powerless. He couldn't find them. He couldn't do anything. So the British Crown approached Henry Morgan, who was the best pirate, the most notorious pirate, and said, "Hey, we'll pay you if you attack your fellow pirates." And he looked around and thought about it and said, "Well, you know, all my fellow pirates are far richer than any of the merchants at this point." So he took the deal and single-handedly ended piracy in the Caribbean, took out all his competitors. And because he was so successful, the British Crown awarded him the governorship of Jamaica. And, right, Jamaica? Yeah, it's Jamaica, right? And the rest is history. So Paul likes to point out that it took a pirate to end piracy. So that's what we're doing. We're the good pirates fighting the bad pirates who are killing dolphins and whales and fish and all the other marine life. And the world's governments are being completely ineffective at stopping this. I mean, the oceans are in the process of utter collapse. And that is a very, very bad and scary thing. Everyone knows about the impending catastrophe of global warming. Very few people know about the impending catastrophe of the collapse of our oceans. And it's just as important. And in fact, the two are linked. And it's a very big problem, and nobody is really doing much about it except for Sea Shepherd. And we're not suffering under any delusions that Sea Shepherd's going to solve the problem all on our own. And Paul has admitted that. The point of it is to set an example and do whatever we can to save whatever lives we can in the time we have, so that as the years go by, perhaps momentum will build, or at the very least, 50 years from now, when the oceans are collapsed, our children won't look back and say, "Why didn't anybody try to do anything?" Well, at least there was someone who tried to do something. So. Sorry, that was kind of a downer.
No, that